Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for coming out here today. I'm Brian Clark. I'm the Executive Director at Generations, and it is fantastic to see this many people here for this luncheon. We have been doing this lunch for years, and it has grown steadily every year, and this is by far the largest turnout we've had for this event, and I'm so thankful to all of our volunteers and everyone who's done everything to get all of you here so you can hear the great things that are happening at Generations. Also would like to thank all of our sponsors. This year we had a record number of sponsors. If you look at the cards on your table, you'll see a list of those sponsors who've really stepped up and have made this event possible. And so for all of you corporate sponsors and individual sponsors who are here today, I thank you so much for making this possible, and I encourage all of you to see who those sponsors are and to give them some of your love in the time to come. So 27 years ago, one woman's personal mission to stop the cycle of sexual abuse became a reality when she opened a tiny group home for 12 kids in southern Greenville County. Kathleen Reynolds, our founder, had seen the terrible impact of sexual abuse firsthand when she watched her sister deal with the effects of a date rape. And then later in her career, Kathleen was working with young kids who had some sexual behavior problems, and she started to notice that this was a group that could be worked with and that real change could be made with these kids. And so, at that time, she decided to put her ideas forward and to use that mission to drive her, and she opened Generations. To say that Kathleen's vision was successful is an understatement. In the time since 1991, when we opened with 12 beds, we now have 76 beds. We've had almost 1,000 kids come through our program in that amount of time, and 98% of those kids have gone on to live lives free from further sexual abuse. Kathleen had a vision, she made it a reality, and that's why we're all here today. And Kathleen is here today, seated right over here, and I would love it if everybody would join me in recognizing her for her career accomplishments. For years, I've been standing here before you at this event saying one of the most important things that we can do is generate awareness of this problem of sexual abuse in this country. Well, the last year, I think you would all agree, has been a watershed moment in making that happen. Thanks to a lot of high-profile personalities who have stood up and said, "Me too," and said enough is enough, this has become part of our national conversation. It's really exciting to be in our shoes and to be dealing with this problem and to see it beginning to get some recognition and for people to understand what we're dealing with here. What always happens in these conversations, as we've been talking about this more, is people say, well, this is obviously a huge problem. What do we do about it? What's the answer? How do we fix it? The great news is, and all of you who have been a part of Generations for so long, we already have that answer. We know one of the things that we can do about this. Early intervention, dealing with kids when they're young and making a significant impact on their lives so that we can actually stop the cycle of abuse. We've done that. We've changed thousands of lives. It can be done. We have the answers. I was recently sitting in a meeting with the directors from DJJ, and they asked me point blank. They were complimentary of the program and how great of an impact we're making, and they said, have you ever considered opening programs like yours in other parts of the state? And I'll tell you exactly what I told her when it was suggested. I said, until the state can take care of us and pay us the fees that it takes to provide this level of treatment and to financially compensate us for what we're doing, we're having enough problems keeping our one program open, so we can't think about moving to the other parts of the state. The only reason that Generations is able to operate today under the current financial climate of the state is because of all of you, is because of personal donations. Generations wouldn't be open today if it weren't for our supporters. So that's why you're here. I hope that you use the next hour to arm yourselves and to build up your tool belt so that you can go out and continue this fight. It's an exciting time right now. This country is ready to discuss this. We need to move forward with that. We need your financial contributions, and we need your votes, and to help with legislation to make sure that we put a child welfare system in place that is supportive of our program. I hope the next hour is inspirational to you and that you leave here feeling confident about the future of our mission and what we can all do to work together to accomplish it. Thank you.
I'm Pastor Eric Boggs, and I've been asked if I would to come and pray a prayer blessing. Let us pray. Father, we are thankful for this day. Thank you for Generations Boys Home and what they do, the ministry they carry out. Lord, we ask that in this day together that certainly, Lord, you would let your face shine on our gathering and be gracious to us, that certainly you would lift your countenance and we would have your peace. Lord, bless in this gathering. Make it a time that is profitable and beneficial, not only in the sense of this effort to raise funds, but also in the sense of our knowledge and the information we gather today. Let us leave here always encouraged and inspired that we can serving together with you, that we can make a difference in someone's life. Again, bless this time together, and always we give you honor and glory, for it is in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hello, my name is Justice. I have been at Generations for 1 year today. I will be graduating from the program tomorrow. Prior to coming to Generations, I struggled to make positive decisions due to the environment that I come from. Where I live, there is rampant gang activity, excessive drug use, abuse, and violent gun crimes. When I was 6, I witnessed my father's murder. This had a significant impact on my life as far as decision-making and a healthy idea of what it means to be a man. Due to a lack of a positive role model, I became highly involved in the gang activity in my area. While in the gang, I made numerous poor decisions such as using drugs, alcohol, carrying weapons, all by the age of 11. These negative choices all culminated into me committing my offense in 2017. Due to my poor decisions, I was sent to a recovery center for 3 months, but then was sent to Generations after a change in my parole guidelines. When I first arrived at Generations, I assumed that this would just be another placement and that I would return back to my old lifestyle. However, while at Generations, I realized that there are others who really cared about me and wanted to see me succeed, especially those who volunteered. Those who volunteered with the program have had a significant influence on my life. Since coming to Generations, the impact that the staff members and volunteers have inspired me to want to live a healthy and better life for myself and for my family. And it is also one special volunteer, Miss Angie Finazzo. She will never be forgotten in my heart. She has made a significant impact on my life. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Walt Wilkins, and I am the 13th Circuit Solicitor, so I represent Greenville and Pickens counties. And my mission as a 13th Circuit is to protect and serve the people of Greenville and Pickens. I'm also chasing a lot of bad guys every single day. One of the main missions that we're supposed to do in this office is to protect children. And I've been serving for the last 7 years, and in my role as solicitor, I see trauma, I see tragedy on a daily basis. And one thing that we're real struggling with is protecting children. Children are different than adults when they find themselves in trouble with the law. Think about it. They're younger, they have not reached that age of maturity. They don't understand the severe consequences of their actions yet. And their minds are so young and developing. And so our goal is really to try to save that child so that they can have a very successful future. In my office, we're currently handling an average of 5 complaints per month of alleged sexual abuse by children under the age of 16. We're seeing a significant rise in this number. It's troubling. Children without an understanding of inappropriate context do not have the maturity to process this abuse correctly. And it creates an environment where bad things are potentially going to happen. And we really believe there are 2 main reasons for this. One, there's the increased exposure to inappropriate material on the internet or by their peers. And then we know that over 40% of all juveniles who've been charged for abusing someone else were also abused themselves. So we are seeing this cycle of abuse among our children over and over again. This continuation of this cycle of hurt and confusion when the child turns into the aggressor has become extremely troubling. We have to stop this horrific cycle, and to be honest, the youth are not our problem. They are our most treasured asset. Our adult society is the direct contributor to this problem. Generations Group has done amazing things to stop this cycle and heal these young minds who have endured trauma and continue the cycle towards others due to lack of help and assistance, oversight, or positive role model in their life. Generations Group has a 98% success rate. Think about it. What an amazing job. And think of the contribution that Generations Group is making directly to our communities and to our children. They are literally saving lives and transforming lives and have been doing so since 1991. But I want to tell you, as well as the children who attend Generations Group, that we're not defined by our tragedies. I'm a survivor. In 2003, my wife and I were married in Charleston. We're on our way to Abaco Island on a small plane with 10 passengers. And about 50 minutes into that plane ride, the right engine blew. And for about 12 minutes, we knew we were going to crash. So I was able to tell my wife goodbye, that I loved her, and that hoped that we would be safe, along with the other passengers in the plane. We crashed. And for 2 hours, we were in the Caribbean Ocean waiting to be saved. A mother was there with her 2 children. She did not survive, but her 2 children did. They were there with their 3-year-old niece. She did not survive as well. So for that moment in my life, I became a survivor, and I endured a pretty significant trauma as well. It was life-changing. It was something that I will never forget. It is something that I will always deal with, witnessing the death of others in a survival situation. But we're not defined by our tragedies. We are defined how we deal with them. Charles Swindoll stated, "Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it." And so it is with these children, we are in charge of our attitudes. You know, I survived a traumatic experience, but that's not who defines me. Just as these children who go to Generations every single day and survive their tragedies and their trauma, they are not defined by what has happened to them or what they have done. They have the ability to go on and lead successful lives and redefine who they are and what they're going to be for the future. Generations has done so many wonderful things for this community, and as a partner with them from the solicitor's office, I can't thank them enough for all the healing and all the great things that they have done. They are stopping the cycle of abuse. These are individuals that will be right back into the system, right back into the incarceration, costing you, society, and taxpayers dollars, money, and emotions. Generations Group has done this since 1991 and is a fantastic partner. So as we're here today to thank Generations for everything they've done, they need donations to continue this healing of our youth that is so necessary for us to be successful. Please think about that after the end of this luncheon. I'm a huge supporter of Generations as well, and I don't know, without them, I'm not sure where we would be with our youth, as my mission is to protect our youth as much as we possibly can, and Generations is certainly an instrumental partnership in that endeavor. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Trooper. I was at Generations for 9 months. I graduated the program March 30th of this year. Thank you. Prior to coming to Generations, I was engaging myself in many negative behaviors, such as using drugs, drinking alcohol, which led to my negative choices, such as disobeying, disrespecting my mom, not following her rules, doing the things I wasn't supposed to be doing, which led to my negative choices. And in the past, I've struggled greatly with my dad not being in my life, which is really hard for me because you always need your father in your life. So not having my father in my life was hard for me, and it made me sad because it made me feel like it was my fault. But in the mix of it all, in 2015, I committed my offense. As a consequence for my actions, I was sent to jail for 5 months. Then I came to Generations. Generations helped me tremendously. While in the program, I was able to learn a lot about myself that I didn't know before. I was also able to receive treatment to help me explore, understand, and correct my problems with sexual abuse. I have also learned through treatment how to correct my negative thinking in the moment and to exhibit empathy towards my family, my peers, and everybody else in the community, as well as how to recognize and correct my issues within my entitlement. In addition to learning how to make better choices, being at Generations has also helped me reconnect with my father. But being at Generations done more for me than just help me understand and correct my negative thinking. It also helped me to mature and act in a more responsible and self-sufficient manner going forward. And since I came home, I've had a couple of ups and downs and issues, but because of the treatment and the tools and the things that I learned while I was at Generations, I was able to overcome that situation and move on from that situation and be a better person and be able to move on from it and have a better outlook on the situation. And so Generations is a good place to be for anybody who needs help, and it's helped me a lot. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Is it clear? Some of them are muffled a little bit. My voice is kind of weird to make sure this sounds properly. I need thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up, nice. So first off, I'd like to thank Generations Group for just giving me the opportunity to come speak to y'all. Just kind of pour into some knowledge and some information that I've learned over my 23 short years of life. They gave me 15 minutes to speak. And they said if I go a second over, they're going to run me off the stage. So once I go over 15 minutes, I need everyone to just start screaming, tell me to leave. I've paid my dues, and I'll leave. They said 15 minutes. I'll keep it short and quick, try to get straight to the point. First off, my name is Ben Boulware. I'm a former football has-been. Now I has-been. I had some fun at Clemson. So has been. Now I'm currently opening a gym in Anderson, South Carolina. We're currently in the works of doing that right now. So I'm dirty, got stuff on my fingernails. I've been cleaning our building out all day. But I'll keep it quick, straight to the point. So I feel like it's beneficial for me to kind of give you all a brief history of my background, where I grew up, about my family, and where I started. Everyone probably has seen the football stuff in my 4 years at Clemson. But I think it'd be beneficial just to kind of give a brief foundation of the environment that I grew up in. It's a flashback. It's 8 years old. I'm in Virginia and racing motocross. So my whole family, my brother, and 5 of my cousins. We all grew up racing motocross. We're in Virginia. My dad grew up doing it, so we travel across the southeast from when I was 6 to 10 years old. And we're in Virginia. I'm racing and get the whole shot. Get on the first turn and end up getting ran over and get knocked out and end up waking up on the track. I think I'm like 9 or 10, something like that. And I woke up and I look on my sleeve and I notice there's blood all over my arm. And I pull my sleeve up and I see a hole in my arm. And my dad runs on the track. They have these foilers and all that stuff coming on with these stretchers. And my dad gets some duct tape. And I'm crying. My mom's on the track. I'm like 9 or 10 or something like that. And I legit have a actual hole in my arm. My dad pulls out the duct tape, rips it open, and starts wrapping my arm with duct tape. And my mom's like, what are you doing? And he's like, we paid a lot of money. We traveled to freaking Virginia. He's finishing this race. And my mom threatened to give him a divorce. They're like, no, you're going to the hospital. He's not finishing this race. So I go to the hospital, and it broke the 2 main bones in my arm. Don't know what they're called. I played football. Wasn't that smart. The 2 bones in your arm, I snapped them in half. Bone came to my arm, and ended up getting dirt on the bone. And he went back in. My arm got really infected, and almost had to cut my arm off. So I was out of the sport for a year, just dealing with, I had a bunch of surgeries, and just a bunch of trauma, just dealing with all that stuff. And we ended up, my mom was like, all right, you're done racing motocross. We're going to go to a safer sport, and you're going to play football and baseball. Which made no sense. So high school, started playing football, or middle school football and baseball. High school, ended up getting recruited, went to Clemson freshman year. Didn't play that much. I thought I knew it all. Didn't. I had a bunch of guys above me that were a lot better than I was and was a lot smarter. Sophomore year, started playing a little bit. Junior year, first year starting. Senior year, obviously I turned out pretty solid. And then went up, go to Carolina for a little bit, and then 49ers had some workouts with some other teams and end up obviously getting injured because football is a very dangerous sport, and here we are today. But the main thing I'd like to talk about, I'd like to flash back to August of 2016, as going into my senior year. It is the first day of fall camp. And it was a couple months after we lost the national championship my junior year. We were playing Alabama in Arizona. Game obviously didn't go the way we wanted it to, and we lost. So it's August of going into the fall camp. It's August 1st, and as a leader, I knew that I had to do something different. I had to make an impact on the team. It was a huge reason why we lost the national championship my junior year. Just made a bunch of key mistakes. Wasn't ready for the game mentally, physically. I was actually injured too, so I wasn't in tip-top shape, ready to play in that game. And that was a big reason why we lost. And it was very difficult for me to accept that and be able to make a difference and change. So it was August 1st, going to fall camp, and got a piece of paper out and just started writing some notes. It's early in the morning. It's first day of fall camp. We're in there at like 7 in the morning. Coach Sweeney and Coach Venables, of course, likes to meet for 23 out of the 24 hours of the day. So we had to get there super early for early morning meetings. It's the first day of fall camp for our senior year. And I pulled up a piece of paper, started writing some stuff down. And this is kind of the stuff I want to talk about. This is the piece of paper. You obviously can't see it because that screen is blurry. But this is the actual piece of paper that was on the front of my notebook that I looked at every single day from the day one of fall camp to January 11th. I think it was January 10th or 11th when we won the national championship, one of those days, to that morning of the national championship in Tampa. So I looked at this piece of paper every single day to remind me of things that I needed to do to make an impact on my team, to make an impact in my community, for myself, for my family, and for really the state. I knew as a leader for me and kind of as for Deshaun as the kind of the leaders of our teams my senior year, we had to do something differently. We had to kind of change the stance of leadership when it came to Clemson And I think there's so many points there. There's probably 10 points. A lot of them are football related because obviously I was playing football. But I think a lot of these are beneficial and translate to some of the boys and girls that have dealt with abuse in the room right now. I think it translates to some of the moms and dads that are running their own business right now, or families, or husbands, fathers, mothers, whatever. I think a lot of this stuff is very beneficial to everyone in the room. So if you want to take your phone out and start writing some notes, this is stuff that I've lived by that's kind of helped me out and shaped my career at Clemson and kind of the life I have now as being 23, as being a new business owner. Obviously, I'm the first one to admit that I have a lot to learn, but these are some of the points that has kind of helped me out through my life, and especially my senior year where we ended up winning the national championship. So I just want to read all these points. If you want to pull your phone out, cool. You don't want to, cool. I think a lot of stuff is very beneficial for everyone. So the first point I wrote down, top of the piece of paper, is June 1st, day one fall camp, 2016. It's about 5:30 in the morning, so I was a little tired. My handwriting stinks, but especially when I was early in the morning. So the first thing I wrote was, I'm just getting the return on my investment. And as I get older, obviously, getting into stocks nowadays, still don't really know what I'm doing, but obviously the higher risk is the higher reward. So going from my junior to senior year, I know I wanted to make an investment, and I know I wanted to get the return on that. And I knew that meant that I had to put in the hours. I had to get in there and work. I had to watch film. I had to get in there and lead the boys and make a difference on and off the field. And I think it relates to everyone in the room, whether you're owning your own business, whether you're a boy or girl in the room that has dealt with abuse, whether if you want to get the return on your investment, whether you're in school, whether you want to see better grades or see a difference in your education, you have to invest a lot of time and energy and effort to get that return. The second thing I wrote was character and attitude. And I know it's very cliche and kind of corny. Everyone's saying that your character and your attitude matters. But it's so beneficial, especially for me, my senior year, as being a leader on the team, being a leader in the community, people that just or kind of follow you. And I knew that I had a bunch of young guys looking up to me. I know I had a bunch of people in the community that kind of follow me on social media or follow me around in the community. And I knew that my character and the way I conducted myself outside of football mattered so much. So for the people that have social media, the boys and girls in the room, I promise you, I know that people hate hearing it, but what you put on social media matters. The way you conduct yourself in the community, it matters. People are watching. People, the way they see you, the way you act in school, whether you're at your sports, they see the way you conduct yourself, and you have a bunch of people looking up to you. So your character and attitude are a huge part in that. There are people all around the community that are watching on a daily basis, and your character and attitude are a huge key point. The next thing I wrote was realize your opportunity and realize your potential. For me, it was huge because obviously, if you would have talked to me my senior year, I could have sworn that I was going to play 15 years in the league and win all these awards, this, that, and the other. Obviously, that didn't work out. So looking back, I wish I would have realized more of my opportunity and realized how short of a time that I had to play the game, how short of a time that I had to be in Clemson and to make an impact. And as I was writing that down, this is my last year. This is my last year at Clemson to make a difference, to bring a national championship back to Clemson. So I had to be real with myself and realize the opportunity was very small. And realized, honestly, I had to be real with myself and what I was dealing with as my potential. I'm barely 6 foot. I'm white. I'm not that fast, not that athletic. And I had to realize, hey, you're probably not going to run a 4.4. You're not going to be 6'4". You got to kind of make improvements and make sacrifices in other areas. So I had to be real with myself and what my potential was and realize, hey, you got to put in some work in other areas, which that kind of led to me being in the film room, staying on the young guys' butts all the time, staying after practice, putting in the work. So for the boys and girls in the room, realize your opportunity, realize your potential, realize that in your days in school, in your high school, wherever you're at now, they're running thin. Hopefully, once you go to college and you have more time, realize that time is so small. You want to make the most out of that. Realize your potential. Realize all the stuff, the people and the resources that you have around you to kind of make the most out of the opportunity you have. The next thing I wrote is more football related, but like I said, it's 5:30 in the morning. It's fall camp, first day. I put past performance does not equal present performance. You got to put in the work day in and day out. Obviously, my junior year had a solid year, but made a lot of mistakes and had the accolades and all that stuff. But I had to realize and be real with myself that what I did the year before does not matter. It does not have any effect on what I was going to do my senior year. And if I wanted to be a difference maker and be a leader and kind of set the tone for that season, that I had to work day in and day out and start a whole new chapter in my senior year. So for the businessmen in here, for the older gentlemen and ladies, that what you did in your business the last year doesn't matter. You have to kind of go in there and start a new chapter every single day or every year. You got to kind of put in the work every single year. A quick story that was kind of cool: when my junior year we were playing at Florida State, and we had Ray Lewis come speak to us. And obviously everyone knows Ray Lewis, if you follow sports a little bit. They played 1,000 years in the NFL, Hall of Famer, this, that, and the other. And he said every year he got into fall camp, he brought in a new notebook and started over. And you imagine him being 12, 13, 14 years in the league, and he said every single year he acted like a rookie. He said every year he had to start over and make an impact and start fresh, because he said if he didn't, he would take it for granted, and that new guy coming in or the new young, fresh guy coming in would take his job. So every year he never took it for granted, brought a whole new notebook in and started from scratch. And that was kind of the one things that I took with me from Matt is my past performance or what I did my sophomore or junior year does not matter. I have to put in the work day in and day out. Next thing I wrote, this one doesn't really apply at all. I put big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. That's what I wrote, so I was going to read it to y'all. The next thing I wrote was do a little bit extra every day. Get better every day. And this was a big thing for me, just really for my conditioning, was going into my senior year. One of the things I changed was every workout, whether it be winter conditioning, summer conditioning, speed and agility stuff, I wore a weight vest every single day, and I freaking hated it. It was terrible. I was cooked every single day, but that was one of the things that I had to change to get better every day. I wore a weight vest. And after practice, I would either run sprints or I would stay and hit the handbag, just to kind of remind myself to do something extra every single day. So whether if you're a boy or girl in the room, or someone older, it's every single day, challenge yourself to do a little bit extra. Whether you're in school, study 5 more minutes every single night. Just keep adding on to it. Challenge yourself every single day. Whether if you're a Christian, get in the Word 5 more minutes every single day. That extra time is so beneficial. Taking care of the little things every single day has such a huge impact. So do a little bit extra every day, get better every single day. This next thing I wrote was pain of discipline or pain of regret. And I've experienced both of them. And I'm going to tell you the first one, or the second one's not too fun. My junior year, I got to experience the pain of regret, going into the national championship game, not being prepared mentally, physically, in every aspect. I was not prepared for that game. And I was a huge reason why we lost that game, just making mistakes, just because I was not ready for the opportunity. And I experienced the pain of regret. And that pain of regret kind of lasted me to my senior year. And I was able to experience the pain of discipline, which obviously is not that fun, but the end outcome is so much better when you discipline yourself every single day, where you're waking up at a certain time, where you're not hitting that snooze button, where you're getting to school on time, not missing your classes, where you're staying after practice, where you're putting in the extra work. The pain of discipline, I promise you, you will see the fruits of your labor. The outcome will be what you wanted it is. So I've experienced the pain of regret, and I've experienced the pain of discipline, and I strongly encourage y'all to follow the path of pain and discipline. That path is obviously a very narrow path, and a lot of people don't follow it, but challenging yourself every day, be disciplined, put in the work, and you'll see the fruits of your labor. The next one I wrote was, it's an acronym. I'm pretty sure we have the letters like stacked underneath. It's a Daboism. I always learned this from Coach Sweeney. We call them Daboisms because we heard 1,000 a day. Coach Sweeney loves his acronyms, and I could probably write an entire novel and everything he's kind of told us. But the acronym that I wrote was EARN. So the E was for effort, A was from accountability, R was for respect, and N was for nourish. Obviously, for football related, the effort for me was doing that little bit extra every play, finishing the play, giving a little bit extra effort in the weight room, just giving the extra effort when it's usually not there. So really for everyone else, just giving that extra effort when it comes in your schoolwork. If you're a boy and girl here where you're challenging yourself, your homework, continue to push yourself, give the extra effort every single day. Accountability. As a leader on the team, I knew that I had to be held accountable. I had a bunch of young guys looking up to me. I had a lot of people in the community looking up to me and following my every single move, and I was held accountable every single day. So whether you're a boy or girl in the room or someone older, people are looking up to y'all. You're held accountable for what you do, and make sure you're leading people down the right path. The next one is respect. And obviously, everyone wants to have respect, and everyone kind of address you a certain way. But I feel like the best way to get respect is to earn it. And from my point of view, they kind of go hand in hand with me being accountable and giving effort. The only way I was going to get respect and have respect from the other players on the team and from the coaching staff and from the community is if I led by example. If I'm in there on the early hours working, busting my butt day in and day out. So R is for respect, and then N is for nourish. That was really big for me as a leader on the team. I had to find a way to. It's a big step from my junior year to my senior year. Something I had to learn to do differently was nourishing my teammates, mainly because I knew that my time there was so small and my sand was running out. And so I knew how to do something differently as nourish my teammates and just treat someone a different way. A little short story. Don't know how I'm on time. I'm trying to rush through this. I think I'm good. I don't think it's been 15 minutes yet. But a quick story. We're in the weight room, and obviously I'm old school. Me and Deshaun's leadership styles are a little bit different. Deshaun's more kind of quiet and led by example. I was kind of the crazy white guy that no one wanted on their team. But if I was on your team, you were happy. If I was on the other team, you hated me. But I was kind of the guy that would get in someone's face, cuss them out if I needed to. Obviously, it's football. But I was with the guy to kind of get in people's faces. A lot of them probably could have beat my tail, but I was willing to take that risk. So I was in the weight room, and one of our linebackers wasn't doing all the reps he needed to be. And a lot of the guys on the team kind of took my leadership style, and if I got in their face and cussed them out, then it worked pretty well. They were like, okay, yeah, they did their thing. But obviously some guys were different, and you kind of had to go at them a different way. And that's one of the things I learned how to nurse them. I tried kind of getting in one of our linebackers' faces and challenge him to do more reps. Obviously wasn't as clean as that, but I was trying to challenge him to do more, and he started freaking crying on me. And all right, maybe I can't cuss this guy out. I might have to kind of take him aside and kind of talk to him one-on-one and just kind of get on the same page. And that was kind of one of the things that I learned as a leader going from my freshman to senior year, that some people are different when just kind of going about them. And that was one of the things I knew I had to do was nourish everyone and cherish everyone on that team. And obviously everyone's kind of accepts responsibility different ways. So whether you're in school, whether you're a boy or girl here, or whether you're someone that owns their own business or running their family, make sure you nourish them. Make sure you cherish them. Make sure you nourish your friends, because a lot of the guys that are in high school right now, for the kids that are here, a lot of your friends, whether you go to college, a lot of them you won't see for a long time. A lot of my friends that I had in high school, I haven't seen in forever. And that's kind of one of the things that I regret, is that I didn't cherish those friendships. I didn't make the most out of them while I was in high school. So make sure you nourish the people around you, because they care about you, and if the way you treat them and you cherish that relationship, it will go a long way. A couple more. I know I'm probably over. Sorry. The next thing I wrote was prepare daily, work daily, succeed daily. I think those go hand in hand. They're self-explanatory. The next thing is another Daboism. something I learned from Coach Sweeney. I got a lot of respect for Coach Sweeney as a man, as a leader, as a father, as a husband, as a Christian. He made a huge impact on my life. And looking back, when I was in those meetings, I was probably so mad to every morning just tired of hearing another Daboism or getting lectured for an hour every single day. But looking back, I wish I would have listened more and just not have been just brushed it over my shoulder, because the life lessons and the beliefs and the values and the things that Coach Sweeney poured into my life were so huge. And I gotta have a lot of respect for that man and the way he runs that program. But one of another Daboism, first thing it says is beliefs, which turn into your thoughts, which turn into your words, which turn into your actions, which turn into your habits, which turn into your values, which in the end turns into your destiny. And for me, the way I kind of interpreted that is take care of the small things, the way you think, the way you speak. Because as you can see, your beliefs and your thoughts, in turn, after a while, will turn into your habits and your values and your destiny. So watch your mind, watch the way you think, watch your thoughts that you're going through your head. Make sure you think positive, make sure you speak positive, make sure you're speaking life and love into existence and into your community, into your friends, into your family. You have to take care of the small things, which will take care of the big things. And I'll end with this. This is kind of the three just lines that I took my senior year, and these are the main ones that I looked at. I had them in big. I had them at the very bottom of the notebook in bold letters. It is something that I knew I had to do to be a leader and to bring the national championship back home to Clemson. And these three sentences are just kind of what I live my life by. And it's be the example, be different, and outwork everyone. Thank you all.
Generations was founded in 1991 when Kathleen Reynolds saw a way to prevent sexual abuse by helping neglected and at-risk adolescent boys overcome abusive behavior and break the cycle of abuse. Our goal is to create a warm, home-like setting which is a structured, secured, and therapeutic environment where boys ages 10 to 18 can learn to become kids again. Through our CARE program, developed by Cornell University, we help our residents see that they can transform their lives and return to the community as positive, productive, and responsible citizens. A child put on the sex offender registry at age 12 will be on it for life. He can never get off it, no matter what offense he committed to be put on it. From that moment on, the child will be branded a sex offender and never have the opportunity to live to his full potential. Generations is here to step in, to rehabilitate that child, to show him how to become a productive member of society, to correct his sexual abusive behavior, and to ensure that the cycle of abuse ends with him. Generations is the only organization in South Carolina that provides specialized care for boys from every county in the state. In 2017, Generations provided care for over 100 young men. To date, Generations has helped over 950 boys transform their lives. With a success rate of around 98%, we provide the unique environment troubled children need for a true second chance. That's 950 boys who would have been abandoned by society or lost in the juvenile justice system that are now responsible, productive members of society who will never again be a perpetrator of sexual abuse. There are many ways to be involved with the great work unfolding at Generations. You could become a volunteer or join the volunteer committee. You could visit a resident whose family can't make regular trips to our facility and show them that someone cares. You could be a guest speaker on any number of topics, and you could help plan special events such as holiday and birthday parties. Our boys always appreciate it when people from our community come out and support them and show them that they aren't alone in their struggle. One of the easiest and most impactful ways to be involved is to donate. Changes to child welfare in South Carolina during the past year provided additional challenges to an already underfunded system of care, yet Generations has been able to continue to provide the same high level of services due to fiscal responsibility and a loyal base of volunteers and donors. With Generations, the cost per child is about $80,000 less than it costs to keep a child in the prison system, and Generations provides 3 times the staff as well as 26 treatment groups per week. Furthermore, the chance of recidivism for a child in the juvenile justice system can be up to 80%, but with Generations, it is only 2%. However, with program expenses now exceeding $4 million, we need your help. Any contribution, great or small, will be used to help transform the life of a child and reduce the prevalence of sexual abuse in our society.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Stevens. I'm the Director of Development with Generations Group, and I'm so glad you're here today. It's to share this wonderful ministry, this wonderful mission of an organization that Kathleen Reynolds started 27 years ago is an honor for me. You know, Generations is truly one of a kind. This is the only residential care facility in South Carolina specifically working with boys to stop the cycle of sexual abuse. Now, this has been a wonderful lunch. Our speakers have been absolutely fantastic. Walt giving us the ability to be able to understand how important Generations is to the community, and Ben to give us the ability to understand how to take setbacks in our lives and to turn those around and to be motivated to move forward. Those are just truly, truly fantastic words of wisdom for both of us. But let's not forget, we're here for a reason. Right now, I'm going to ask you to do 2 things. First, I'm going to ask that you provide financial help for Generations so that we can continue this great program. Make a donation right now. There are many ways that you can give, and as you fill out the envelope, and there's an envelope that I'll point towards you or to you in just a minute, but you can write a check to Generations, or you can give us your credit card. We'll be very careful with that number. Promise. Or if you'd like, you can give online right now at generationsgroup.com, donate now. That's the easy way for you to keep your card number, but to donate to Generations. But this is a Generations annual fundraising luncheon. So I'm asking you to give. I'm asking you to give sacrificially for the sake of this worthwhile organization. In addition to making a financial gift, I'd like for you to become a volunteer. You can make a substantial impact on the boys of Generations and their families just by spending a little bit of time, whenever you have time, to join, to invest in their lives. I can promise you that the boys will be blessed by this, but you'll be just as blessed. In front of you on your tables, you'll find the envelope. Please pick that up. You'll find a pen too, and those pens are for you. It's a Generation logo, so you can think about us every time you pick it up. You can give us a little monthly or weekly donation if you'd like to do that. And at this time, we'll give you some instructions on how to complete that envelope.
Please fill out all of your contact information on your giving envelope. Generations is a 501c3 organization, and all donations are tax deductible. In the giving area to the left, select the level of your gift. To the right of that, enter the amount you are contributing and how often. If paying by check, place the check in the envelope. Or you can use your smartphone or tablet and give right now by paying online. Go to www.generationsgroup.com and donate now. To give by credit or debit card using the donation envelope, enter your information and sign giving your approval. If you are currently giving regularly, you may choose to extend and/or increase your current recurring donation. If your company is willing to match, please check here. Check "Please call me" to have a Generations representative call to discuss major giving, giving with stock, volunteering, or any other opportunities for discussion.
Feel free to continue filling out that envelope. And one of the things that we didn't have up on the video is go back and look at the number that you have on that envelope and put an extra 0 behind it. How about that? Just remember, this is your time to invest in something that is everlasting, something that is meaningful. You know, many times we don't have that opportunity to be able to know that our investment is truly impacting lives, impacting our community, and as a matter of fact, impacting our entire state. You know, Generations is being emulated in other parts of the nation. We're the only organization like this in South Carolina, and other states are realizing that they need an organization like Generations. So Kathleen truly started a wonderful organization. Brian is truly leading a wonderful organization into the future. As you finish your envelope, I think there's a green envelope that's on the table there. If you would take that envelope, or take your giving envelope, put it into the green envelope, and if somebody would keep hold of that for us, we certainly would appreciate it. You know, one of the things that I want you to remember as you leave here today, and this is something to think about, 98% of the boys who complete this nationally recognized program never go on to have any other problems with the law. They never have any other problems with the situation they're in. They've learned to put the trauma of their life behind them, and they've learned to take responsibility for anything that they may have done so that they can become productive members of society. Over 950 boys have come through this program, and they've been successful. And it's because of the 26 therapy sessions a week. It's because of the investment this staff makes into each one of these children. And it's because of the volunteers that come out and spend time with the boys on a regular basis. It's a community effort. It's one that everybody comes together to truly change a life. And I invite you to join us in doing that. We need your help. But I want to thank you, each and every one, for coming and taking the time during this lunch. We promised to get you in and out in an hour, and Ben, I'm sorry I could have given you about 5 more minutes. But for many of you, attending this luncheon has been your first introduction to Generations. Please don't let it be your last. Get involved with Generations. Become aware of the needs of Generations. For others, you've been invested in these boys' lives for years and years, and I want to thank you for that, because you truly do change lives. Each one of you determine, as Ben said, to make a difference, to do something, to change your lives, to do something for someone else. Invest in one of these boys' lives. Help them to become a success for themselves. Your financial help and your time as a volunteer help us to do that over the next year. You know, last year, many of you were probably at this banquet event, and we were in the smaller banquet hall. And we determined that we were going to have more people here. Thank you all for coming. Over 840 people have decided to come and join us for this event today. I want to thank you for that. We couldn't have done this also without our wonderful sponsors. Our sponsors were overwhelmingly gracious this year. If you look at the card and you saw the scrolling screen before, we've had 35 sponsors join us this year for this event. For you sponsors, you have made a huge impact and you have helped to make this possible. Thank you for that. All right, table captains, do you know who you are? Okay, everybody that's a table captain, that centerpiece is yours. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. Now look, if you're not a table captain, don't go to somebody else's table and get that piece, okay? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the impact that you make at Generations, and be involved with us. We appreciate you. Have a great afternoon.